Hey everyone, just felt like getting here onto YouTube and hanging out, seeing who else was dinking around on this Sunday evening really late. It's 11 p.m. here, Pacific time over here. I'm in Oregon. And so I just thought I'd hop on, hang out, see if anybody popped in. We could kick back and sit around and shoot the bull for a while. I titled the video Schizophrenia, CBD oil, and marijuana. Those are the three things that are pretty predominant in my life right now. I've had schizophrenia all my life. I never knew it until I was 43 or 44. And so I basically lived my whole life with schizophrenia. And it made it challenging. I guess the biggest challenge for me is I knew that there was something, but I didn't know what it was. And so I lived most of my life, and I'm actually proud of myself for what I was able to accomplish with the illness that I had. And so when I was diagnosed at 44, it was like tragic beauty. The tragedy is that I was diagnosed with this illness, this life-changing illness. The beauty is that now that I was aware of what it was that I had, I could figure out a way to start to live my life with it, knowing what the limitations were and so forth. And so I started doing a search on figuring out which medications I needed to take to help me out. And they were some pretty horrid ones. Not only horrid, they were very costly. At one point in time, I was on medications that came up to a total of $9,000. Fortunately, I didn't have to pay $9,000 because the psychiatric nurse I was seeing, she had me on samples, and that was all fine and good, except I told my mom, who I was living with at the time, I said, if she keels over dead tomorrow, I said, I'm strung out on $9,000 worth of medications that you don't just quit taking. It takes a lot of time and work to get off of mental health medication once you're on it. And so I transitioned away from her and went to my original family doctor, who I'd worked with for many years on, he was just a family doctor, and he knew what was going on. And so I told him, I said, we've got to find a new mix of meds. I said, not only are these meds not working for me, I don't have the money for them. And as I was going through that process with the psychiatric nurse, the side effects were they were insane. And the hard part is they were causing side effects in me that no psychiatric individual or professional, I guess I should say, had ever seen before. And I didn't know more about that until later, and then I found out more about why that was happening. But to get back to the point, my family doctor, we were finally able to get on a regimen of medications that it was hard, because he opened the book one day of medications for schizophrenia, and he said, we're coming to the very end. We've tried just about everything. And he goes, let's try on Seroquel. So we tried Seroquel, and we were almost there. And I told him that there was just something that was missing. And I said, what do we have? And he goes, Xanax is about it. I said, well, hit me with it. So we tried Xanax, and it was working out okay. I had a really bad weekend with it once, and I'll do a live stream on that sometime. But Xanax XR at 3 milligrams was the final piece of the puzzle. And so I and I still am on Xanax XR 3 milligrams, lamotrigine I'm on 300 milligrams, and Seroquel I'm on 400 milligrams. And Seroquel was all fine and good. It started giving me really bad carb cravings, but it was helping me in an area where I needed help, and that was getting to sleep. Once I was asleep, I had no problem. People with schizophrenia, they go one of two directions. Either you don't get any sleep at all, or else you get too much sleep, and I'm in the too much sleep category. And so it was just getting to sleep that was the challenge for me. And so the Seroquel helped with that, but it create, or you go into, I'm not sure what the right term is, but I call it dope sleep, because when Seroquel hits, you really don't remember anything. It takes you into a sleep state, and then all of a sudden, boom, you wake up. And there's, very rarely do you remember your dreams or anything like that. And so I was okay with that because I was level. I was able to do things that normally I never thought I'd be able to do, such as going on vacation. However, there were some limitations that came out of it, and that was the reality that I'd never be able to go back to work and, travel and do things like that, because I was kind of chained to those medications. And then Seroquel broke. And what I mean by broke is all of a sudden I started having really bad paranoia right after I take the medication. And it was pretty extreme paranoia, but I was like, I don't want to go back to that time again when I'm trying new medications, trying to find one that works, because I actually had been on a good regimen of medications at one point in the past. And because of a relationship that I was in, um, because she had said some things personally, I tried to change my mix of medications, even though they were working okay. And when that didn't work and I tried to go back to the original regime, they wouldn't work anymore. And so with the Seroquel being broke, I was really, really nervous about doing anything, because even though it was broke at night, when I took it before I fell asleep, I was fine during the daytime. And so I was caught in a pretty bad situation, which was, what do I do? The new drugs that are out there, I'd tried them all, and they're horrid. Saffras, Zyprexa, Abilify, the list goes on and on. And the new generation, because they come out in generations, and I think this is the third generation, but I think that's what they said. And none of them, I mean, in Vega, they all are just, they're crap, and you're paying thousands of dollars for crap, when you have generic medications out there now that are really solid medications. And people say, well, Xanax is dangerous. Well, dangerous or not, it's working for me, and it's working really well. But the Seroquel was the one that's a problem. And so I decided, well, I need to do something about this, because I can't live in this state of paranoia at night after I take my medications for the rest of my life. And I knew that these medications were thrashing on my liver. I mean, I'm going in for a brain MRI this week, to find out if there's anything more going on. And then after that, we're going to start working on my liver, because the medications just thrash the liver, and my kidneys are stressed, and everything is stressed. And so, with the Seroquel being broke, I went and talked to my doctor, and I said, hey, what do you think about marijuana? And it's pretty amazing that I would make a statement like that. If you knew about my past, I'll do a live video on that later to explain why that was such a big step for me to take. But he said, it's not going to hurt. And I said, I heard that marijuana is poison for people with schizophrenia. And he said, some people it is, some it isn't. He said, there's only one way to find out, and that's to try it. And so I didn't know anything about marijuana. I thought you smoked the leaf. I didn't know that you didn't smoke the leaf. That's how ignorant I was about it. And so I lived here in, or I live here in Oregon, and the county that I live in, they opted out of it's legal here. That's not the problem, but at the time, they weren't allowing anyone to sell marijuana in a retail store. And so I had to drive over to a city called Ashland in Oregon to start my process of learning about marijuana. And since I really didn't know anybody who smoked it, because nobody I hung around with did, I basically had to teach myself. And it was about a 2-year long learning process and thousands of dollars, because those dispensaries, they aren't cheap. But the short end of the story is it worked. And during that time period, I had tried some CBD oil. And just a side note, I'm gonna go back in and talk about growing marijuana at some point in the future on another live video, because I know there's a lot of people out there with schizophrenia, and if they see this video or the future video on growing it, I want to give them some really good advice, and for you as well, even if you're not mentally ill but you're wanting to grow marijuana. I'll be doing a video on that. It's pretty important. I do grow my own now. But anyways, I had tried the CBD, and the CBD didn't help with the mental issues with the paranoia. But it did help with quite a few other things. The first time I got some CBD, I had a really bad headache. And I came home and I just grabbed some of that cream, and I thought, well, I'm going to try this out. And so I slapped some up on my head and rubbed it around, and I'm I'm not kidding you. That headache was gone like 5 seconds, just boom, that quick. And I had an accident when I was in the Navy that affected the whole left side of my back from my neck all the way on down. And I was having some pain back there that night. So I thought, well, I'll give this a shot too. Boom, I slapped that CBD oil on that neck pain, and it was gone. The CBD has a relaxing effect for me. Everybody's different, but for me, it had a relaxing effect, and it really relaxed those muscles. And so I keep some CBD around for that. But I just recently ran into a company, and I'm not a big fan of network marketing or multi-level marketing at all. I saw almost destroy my parents' marriage because they had gotten into an Amway gig back when I was in school. And I mean, by 7th grade, I had read all the motivational books on, Think and Grow Rich and How to Win Friends and Influence People. And, I was selling mouth sprays that Amway made in 7th grade. I was selling them to the kids at school. And so, when I saw what it did to my parents, I was like, I'm never going to get involved with anything like that ever again. That's just, it's insane. I don't want to be a part of that. And so the other night, about 5 nights ago, I had this person message me, and they said, are you interested in this? And I looked at it, and it was CBD oil. And then I saw that it had multi-level marketing attached to it, and I'm like, well, fuck that. And so I looked at it further, and I started looking at the information. One thing that's good about multi-level marketing companies is you're going to get a product that is far and above what you can find in the store if you're dealing with a good multi-level marketing company. If it's a good, solid company, ethical, you're going to get a top quality product. There's no doubt about it. And so I looked at that and I thought, if these guys are ethical, this is going to be a top-notch product. And that's one of the things that I'd noticed about some of the other CBD manufacturers here in Oregon is, they watered down their product. They stretched it out. They put in a lot of thinners, things of that nature that I just wasn't comfortable with. And so, I had a bottle of CBD, not oil, not the tincture, with a little thing that you squeeze and pump it out in your mouth, but I was using the creams. And I noticed um, that they just didn't have the full power. I had given a CBD infuser to a friend, and it was a pretty amazing experience to watch because she took just one hit off of this infuser, and it's almost like you could just watch it just move down her body because she had neuropathy or whatever that nerve um, illness is. Neuropathy, yeah, that's it. And she was in a lot of pain, and then she took that infuser, that CBD infuser, and it just, she just changed just over a 5 second period of time. And she said, "Oh man, I feel so good." And so I knew that CBD, since that was a concentrated version of CBD, I knew that CBD was very powerful. I had just never really seen the full power. I'd seen what it did with my headache and my neck, but I had never experienced that type of relaxation like what she had experienced. And so when I looked at this product the other night, I thought, this is going to be a good quality product. And so I looked at and watched some of their information, and they're growing organic, which is a huge plus to me. That pretty much sold the product to me right there, because you don't want to be using any kind of herbs, not just marijuana, but any kind of herbs that you're using in a tea, anything like that. If it's not organic, don't put it in your body, because the chemical pesticides and the chemical fertilizers and everything that they use on plants, it's sad to think about, but even with our food, oranges and apples and stuff like that, those chemicals, they're going into your body because you use them on the plant, and the plant sucks those chemicals up and they put it into the fruit, they put it into the leaves, they put it wherever it needs to go to make that plant grow. And so the company HempWorks, which is who I'm talking about, they said they're 100% organic, non-MGO or some phrase like that. But anyways, basically just saying that this is 100% organic, no additives of any sort to help it grow or anything like that. And so I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's really cool. And so I thought about it for a while, and I thought, I've been down at the store a few times filling prescriptions, and I've seen old people in there, I remember this one old lady was trying to figure out, how she's going to pay for her food and her medications. And my heart went out to the poor thing, because, that's, that's terrible. That anybody should have to, choose between medications or food. And so I looked at this and I thought, I'm the kind of person, I do like helping people. And I looked at this product, and excuse me, I itched my nose. I said to myself, I said, I'm going to get this product in, and I'm going to give her a shot. And I already know how it's going to go, because I've talked to people since then who have been using the product, and I can tell from the way that they talk back to me, I know that they're, telling the real deal. I'm going to grab a little swig of drink here real quick. And so I know the product's going to live up to its name. And so I'm probably not going to do too much with the network marketing part of it, of, the rah, and let's, get you involved and we'll buy you a Ferrari and, do all those things. It takes a lot of hard work to put together a multi-level marketing program where people are, succeeding in selling products and all that. But with that said, I looked at these products and I said, there's a lot of people who can be helped by this product. It may be able to take the place of some medications that you're taking. It's hard to say, you can't make medical claims with any kind of supplement or anything that, isn't identified as a medication by the Food and Drug Administration. So And on top of it all, medications are no different than marijuana or any other herb, lavender, it doesn't matter what it is. Um, you know, the human body, each human body is unique, and each human body is going to react uniquely um, to an herb, to a medication. You don't know. They can only run so many trials on a medication, and then you look at the possible side effects in a magazine, and it's like 2 pages of side effects and 1 page of advertisement. And it seems like in any one of those, side effect disclosures that you look at in a magazine, it says, there's a possible risk of death. Well, okay, that's real encouraging. And, I'm sure that there is with marijuana if it's depending on how it's used, but um, I I've never heard of anyone directly dying from using pure, professionally grown organic marijuana. I haven't heard of it. Maybe there has been. I'm not going to say that there hasn't, but it's um, when I originally saw it on the ballot here in Oregon, where they wanted to get marijuana medically legal, I voted against it. I just figured it was a bunch of hippies who were trying to justify, using marijuana legally. And so when it came on the ballot here in Oregon for it to be legalized, I voted against it then too, because I just felt like it was going to come with a lot of negatives. And now here I am. I'm this huge proponent of marijuana, not for the recreational. That blows me away too. Recreational smoking of dope. When I was a kid, if we were going to do something recreational as fishing or, playing ball or doing something like that, it wasn't getting stoned out of your mind and sitting on a couch eating popcorn all night. But I do still smoke. I smoke nightly, and the THC helps me out. It helps out with those paranoia attacks, and I am so thankful that I made that decision to go that route with the marijuana. And I'm very careful about it. I've always taken it very seriously. I've always used it in a medical sense. I've done some scientific research on myself that at times didn't turn out too well, but I was just getting involved in marijuana, figuring out the best way to use it within my life. And some of the things that I did, I probably shouldn't have done, but I made it through okay, and I'm fine. And so what I finally did is I found 4 good strains that I liked, and I went ahead and bought a grow tent and just started growing my own marijuana. That way I knew what was going into the plant itself. I was in full control, and I knew, what the end result was going to be. And so I'm very stable on marijuana. A lot of times I really don't even get high from it. My tolerance level is up there pretty good. So I get the therapeutic effect of it, helping with the paranoia, but I don't get the, I'm high and, doing all the things, that people do when they're high, depending on the type of, marijuana that it is. So, CBD oil is, very, very good. I have gingivitis, and I'm looking forward to getting the CBD oil in because I want to try it for some of the gingivitis that I have. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna, I'm having a lot of problems with my liver because of the medications. So I'm hoping that, it'll tone down the stress on my liver. Like I said, everybody is unique, and so I can't count on that 100%. But I think they'll go a long way in helping me to get my liver back into a stable state, which it's not in right now. I asked my doctor. I said between 1 and 10, how bad is my liver? He said it's about a 9. I said, well, I knew that these medications were going to thrash on my liver. I said, I just figured, that we wouldn't be having this conversation for another 5 years or so. And he's like, nope, it's here now. And so, you know, I really want this CBD real bad, because I really believe that this company has a good product, and, you know, I want to help people out, and I'll probably try to, you know, build a business out of it, and, you know, recruit people and work with them at whatever level they want to be worked with. You know, maybe they don't want to build a business, maybe they just want the product, and, you know, we'll get them the product, and we'll figure out, you know, how best it can help them, you know, organically, in a holistic, you know, type of treatment. And, you know, those who want to make some extra money, this is the perfect time to get on board with this program, because CBD is blowing up everywhere. You don't even have to do your own advertising. You know, you got the news, you got everybody else out there advertising for you. And so, you know, the name of the company is HempWorks, HEMPWORX.com. And my page, you just put a slash in there, DMC68. So it's HEMPWORX.com/DMC68. Check it out. Get a hold of me if you want, so we can talk. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. But you really need to get on this if you're having health problems, because this is an option that you need to consider. You need to give it a shot. You need to try it out. You know, see what kind of positive things it brings into your health regimen. One of the other things, final things before I go, it's not a topic that everybody wants to talk about, but it's the truth, and it really applies to America these days, is the CBD oil and the marijuana and the THC, they relax your body muscles a lot. And some of the body muscles they relax are in your lower body. And I'm referring to constipation. It really helps with constipation a lot. And I know a lot of people are suffering from that right now in this country. And so you should go ahead and give it a shot. So anyways, thanks for checking out this video, and we will talk with you soon. Bye.